What is going on, everyone? Chris with Journals, Comics, and Pop Culture. Today, I'm talking about this issue with the Spider-Man 3 rumors of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield showing up to do some type of multiverse, Spider-Verse type of film. And guys, hate to burst your bubble, but I'm on the side of this not happening. I'm going to talk about a couple of issues and then kind of dive into a deeper stance that I think is important for me to address today. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the fact that this rumor picked up so much steam over this last week, but then within the last 24 hours, Screen Rant did release this article stating that the casting rumors have been debunked by Sony. So before we go into anything, now remember, guys, stick around because I am going to talk about why I feel that this needs to be addressed in a specific way so we don't get carried down the rabbit hole of all the rumor mill surrounding this. But let's look at what Sony had to say here. We're going to go straight to their official comment where it says that rumors circulated online that Macguire and Garfield were either in talks or already locked in to play their respective Peter Parker characters in Sony and Marvel's Spider-Man 3. However, in a statement to ET Canada, a representative of Sony Pictures said those rumored castings are not confirmed. Studios don't always comment on casting rumors, but in this case, Sony has debunked the currently circulating rumors about Macguire and Garfield. Now, Screen Rant did go on to say that, hey, just saying that they're not confirmed doesn't mean that this still can't happen, which is true. But I'm going to tell you guys why this is extremely problematic. Two reasons. One is basically where this rumor mill started from. Okay. And we'll get into that in just a second. But before I talk about that, I'm going to talk about personally, and hey, look, I could be wrong. Who knows what could happen later down the line? But let me tell you about why I just don't think that this will happen, especially so soon within Tom Holland's role and tenure as the MCU's Peter Parker Spider-Man, and also why I think just it won't happen in general, at least to this scale. Look, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy was what it was, and it was revolutionary in many ways. You know, regardless of what you think of the third film, a lot of people still see Spider-Man 2 as one of the greatest Spider-Man movies ever made, and some probably think that it's one of the best superhero movies to ever be made. I saw the first Spider-Man at a time in my life where watching these movies on screen really brought me back into comic books, or at least helped. I always say that Sam Raimi created an aesthetic that brought the pages of the books to life. There was a lot of flaws I felt he made too. I don't think Tobey Maguire was necessarily the right choice. Kirsten Dunst was a horrible choice, but he made a lot of other casting choices that were spot on. And overall, these films will always be legendary in their own right. Okay. The Amazing Spider Man. I actually really enjoyed the first film. I thought the second one was a wash. Seemed even more short lived, obviously. And I don't think Andrew Garfield did a horrible job. I thought he did a decent job with what he had to work with. So when I say that I don't see this happening, it's not because I think those were horrible movies in general, but you got to understand the business side of this, okay? One, Sony from a business perspective of a public perception, the public, regardless of what you thought of the Sony franchised films before they made their partnership with Marvel Studios, the fans wanted something fresh. They knew that Sony was shooting themselves in the foot. They needed something to happen, and that's why Marvel Studios and Disney came in and said, hey guys, we need to handle this. All right. Right now, we don't want to convolute what's going on with the MCU's Peter Parker so much. That's my opinion. I really feel like if you start bringing all these elements back in, it's going to really water things down and it's not going to work the way we as fans think it might work. Another thing that Sony has going on for themselves are the End of the Spider-Verse animated films. You got the Spider-Man video game. So you already have a lot riding for Sony's success. Okay. And they know that Marvel Studios and their partnership is really, leading the way, um, steam engineering the way for Spider-Man to be successful in a live action cinematic universe. Okay. They know that so much that they're bringing Venom and Carnage into the Marvel Cinematic Universe in some way because we know Tom Holland is going to show up with Tom Hardy on screen. We know that for a fact, even though we don't know the details yet. What I'm trying to say, guys, is we need Kevin Feige is not going to, muddy the waters with all this Sony stuff within the MCU. I just don't see it happening, especially right now. Now, here's the way that I think this could happen. I think that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire could show up in a small cameo that in some way brings in these other Peter Parkers from a multiverse. But in a cameo, in this fun, brief setting and situation that is like a fan service, but it's not like incorporating them into a film where there's, two or three Spider-Man on film and they are the major protagonists of the film, and they're, the film is focused around all of them like working together or doing something crazy on that level. I don't see that happening, especially right now. Tom Holland is the live cinematic Peter Parker right now, and I think it's going to stay that way. I don't see this happening. Now, let me go into, guys, why I feel this is even more problematic, of why we as fans need to pump the brakes and really, before we get behind the rumor mill, we really need to do our due diligence before we start, playing the telephone game, so to say, right? And spreading these rumors and allowing them to circulate. And I'm sorry, but the big component, and look, you guys know me. I'm extremely positive. I don't like to throw anyone under the bus. I'm throwing "We Got This Covered" under the bus. I cannot. I'm at a point where I cannot stomach "We Got This Covered." Okay, "We Got This covered" to me, and I look. I know it's movies and entertainment. It's not like, news media outlets that are biased these days. And I've talked about this on my channel. um, News media outlets, when you talk about these big media outlets, corporate outlets like Fox or MSNBC or CNN, they are not, they're not, it's not journalism, people. It's not journalism, and it's not even really news, right? It's sensationalized entertainment with an agenda. Whether you want to call it a Republican or conservative agenda, we know Fox, their broadcasting and their rhetoric is very conservative. But then if you go over to MSNBC, their rhetoric is extremely liberal. And you have these so-called pundits and so-called journalists in the faces of these shows, um, as basically the torch bringers of the rhetoric. They're not journalists, guys. This isn't news. They're feeding into our fears, or feeding into, what they are sensationalizing for us to get behind what they're saying. Nobody's reporting news as fact anymore, and it's a serious matter when it's social issues or political issues and so forth. But look, I love my entertainment. I love my geekdom. I love my comic book stuff. And although it's not affecting my life, I take it seriously. And when you get somebody sensationalizing geekdom and pop culture and entertainment and comic books, I'm going to stand up and speak against it. "We Got This Covered" is sensationalizing the rumor mill of shoving stuff down our throat as if it was fact. Dude, I swear to God, like, if you go to the website, what if within the last week, you know what they've confirmed? I mean, they've confirmed that Hugh Jackman is going to return as the MCU's Wolverine for 225 more films. They confirmed that oh, I can't even, guys. It's so crazy. The stuff that they say is confirmed is so out there, and we just freaking believe it. Let's look into what they said about Spider-Man 3. I'm going to read it for you guys. Quote, "It looks like Spider-Man 3 is set to have a much grander scope than we expected. This week brought the shocking news that Jamie Foxx is returning as Electro in the movie, which tipped us off to the fact that the threequel will have a multiverse element." Okay, right there, no. They state this as fact. Jamie Foxx returning as Electro is a fact. That tipping us off to a threequel having a multiversal element is not fact. Not at all. There's no context or detail behind Jamie Foxx's return as Electro. None. None at all. All we know is that he's playing Electro. It's that simple. We don't know if this is just him taking up the character, but it's not going to have any connection to Sony's Amazing Spider-Man Electro. We know nothing. Now look, I'm all for, we got this cover coming on here and saying, this could mean that Jamie Foxx is reprising the Electro role, which could open up a door to his old Electro portrayed in the Amazing Spider-Man movies, which could bring in a multiversal element. They could state that as a rumor, but they state here that it's a fact. It's not a fact. Not at all. And then he says this: since then, the actor posted and then promptly deleted a piece of artwork on Instagram that depicted Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire, and Andrew Garfield, hinting that it's going to unite all three cinematic Spider-Man and give us the live-action Spider-Verse event fans have been dreaming about. According to my knowledge, Jamie Foxx never posted that. To my knowledge and my research, it was Photoshopped. Just like there was a Photoshopped tweet of, I believe it was a tweet of him stating something like, "I won't be donning the blue, I'll be donning the yellow and green," or something like that. And it was photoshopped as if it was coming from his Twitter. That was not true. He never posted that. So again, where are they getting their information from? Then it says now a new report is pointing to this being actually the case. Fandom Wire is claiming that Marvel has secretly been in talks with both Garfield and Macguire to get them back for Spider-Man 3 opposite of Holland. According to their sources, and this is the problem with them, they always say, according to our sources, in everything that they do, according to our sources, that, and then they take credit for everything. They take credit for calling, oh, we called this before it happened. We called that before it happened. Man, oh man, we got this covered. And here's my issue. My issue is that they state everything as fact and then they say our sources without giving us any context to sources. And I was going to take note, and I might still do this. I might make a video specifically on We Got This Covered, and I might start taking note of all of their clickbait, sensationalized articles that they publish and do a video showing off all those to just show how extreme it is. And look, I'm all for speculating. I'm all for rumors, but you got to call it how it is. It becomes negligent when you call it fact. Sony has already came and debunked that anything regarding this Spider-Man 3 issue of a Spider-Verse is there's no truth to it. Regardless if Sony knows that might happen, nobody knows it. Nobody. So We Got This Covered definitely doesn't know. So again, guys, look, I'm all about the rumors. I'm all about speculating. I'm all about saying, hey, this could happen, that could happen. But we got to pump the brakes on being careful where we get our information from and believing it to be facts. All right. So look, right now, there's no live action Spider-Verse in the work. There is no Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield set to show up in a Spider-Man 3. I highly doubt it. I may do a video in the near future talking more about some articles when We Got This Covered. But for now, guys, look, enjoy your rumor mills. Take it with a grain of salt, and go easy on playing the telephone game and spreading this information. Because as of right now, Sony let it be known. Spider-Man 3 might have a multiversal element to it. We're gonna see Doctor Strange. We are going to see some rendition of an Electro play by Jamie Foxx, but that's all we know at this point. Everything else is rumor. So if you want to talk about what you think is going to happen in that movie, state it as a rumor or a hypothesis and nothing else. So that's my thoughts to get today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. Be well, and until next time.